Hello everyone, welcome to another challenge with Shimelle, and our challenge this week is lots of layers, and I'll be using a 1950s inspired color scheme for this layout, and the prompt is also vehicles, and here's a 1950 photo of Grandma, Papa, and my mom in front of their family vehicle, and I'm using the EK Success Rhombus Punch, which is the diamonds. And you'll notice that I cut some of the diamonds, the pink and the aqua diamonds, I cut them in half. And I'm showing you the Juno paper from Shimelle's Starshine collection, which is 1950s motif there. That stylistic star. So here I'm going to show you how I use little tiny tidbits and itsy bitsy teeny pieces of scraps. I don't throw any of these away, I just keep them in sandwich baggies so that I can use them to layer behind photos. So I'm going to pile all of these little tiny strips onto a white piece of cardstock so that I can add it behind my photo. And that way you don't have to throw any of these little pieces out, you can just use them for layering. So while we're watching me layer up the background here that's going to go underneath the main photo, I wanted to talk about this challenge. At first, the vehicle prompt on the challenge I was having a hard time with because I couldn't find very many. I found like a total of 4 photos from the last 20 years in our family. And then I thought, well, why don't I go farther back and see if I can use layers figuratively and literally. So figuratively I could use lots of layers in the amount of time that I scrapbooked. So we're starting in the 1950s, and I'll also use photos of cars from the 1970s, the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. So I'll end up with 6 photos spanning my mom, my childhood, and then my children's childhoods, and the family cars. So at first I thought this was a really tough challenge for me, but that's what I really love about Shimelle's challenges, is that she makes me take a different perspective. And that's why we love scrapbooking, because this is a layout that has never happened before, and it's a story that's never been told. So I thought that was important. And when I started thinking about our family cars, I thought, well, our cars are so important because we bring new babies home from the hospital in them, we bring groceries home to feed our family, we travel on road trips, we go on dates, we sing in the car, we go to church on Sunday. There's so many things that are key memories to our family that happen in our cars. So that's why I really thought this layout was important, and I really ended up loving this in the end, even though at first I thought, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And it also gives you the prompt because I really realized I was quite lacking in the vehicle photo department. So from now on I'll take more pictures of our cars. So it's a good learning opportunity. Now here you'll see that even though there's a lot of circles punched out of this piece, I can still use it to layer behind. I'm just going to end up hiding that other circle that's punched out of the aqua. I'll just end up hiding any of those, and that star that's on the top right there, I'm going to end up covering that up in the very end with some hearts, because it doesn't quite match the 1950s theme that I'm going for here. And I really like the soft colors, the soft pastels with that black and white photo. And then all of the other photos are pretty bright, so what I ended up doing was putting them in a 5x7 vellum envelope, or glassine envelope. And so all of the other 5 tags and the journaling, here it is, I'm showing you this. So there's 5 tags in here with a total of 5 photos, and then this big huge journaling page that fills up the entire pocket. So that's 5x7. And that way I can keep the layout looking clean and still include the whole entire story and 6 photos. So that is once again part of the prompt, lots of layers. So we have lots of layers behind the photo, and we have lots of layers in the glassine envelope behind the photo as well. And here I'm cutting apart one of Shimelle's ephemera die cut pieces. It's a luggage tag from the Starshine collection. And I'm just going to let it peek out the top there near the epoxy paper clip. That's also from the Starshine collection. And then I used her True Stories 6x6 paper pad and just cut random sizes so that none of the tags are the same size, and they all will peek out and you'll see the different layers. It creates lots of interest. I'm going to use the score tape because it's a heavy-duty, really high-tech adhesive along the seams of this glassine envelope, and you won't be able to see it once I place it down. And I like that you can still see the diamonds through, once you take everything out of the pocket, you can still see the diamonds through the glassine envelope, so I like that. And then once I put the story in the pocket, you can't see any of the adhesive, so that's good. And I ripped the envelope there, so I'm going to end up covering that with washi tape. So here I stitched these down already before I started the video, and I'm just lifting them up off the back of the page so that it gives some more interest and texture and dimension. And here's the 70s Suburban. And so what I did was I printed my journaling strips on the computer, and then I just attached each one that was coordinated with the photo, so that you knew when you look at the tags and the photos, it'll coordinate with the journaling. So then I fit them all in, and they fit in no problem. And the reason I left the crocheted tags on the top of the tags have a longer string is so that you can pull those all out of the pocket with just really easy. So here I'm deciding how I'm going to cover up that tear on the glassine envelope. And I just love this photo. Some of my most treasured photos are the older ones that we have from Grandma and Papa, and the heritage photos. And I don't use these very often, and I copied this, scanned it, and copied it, so I'm not using the original. There I added the washi tape to cover up, and here you'll see I'm using the Shimelle Fitzgerald font, which I love it because it's tall and skinny and you can fit a longer title in a not very large space. And then for that accent diamond behind the little, I cut it into fourths so that you have 4 different patterns, and it's a little different than the diamonds on the left and kind of highlights the title better. Here I'm finishing up the title. I use my X-Acto knife and the steel edge ruler so I can get that lined up and make sure it's straight on the layout. And I'm going to add a few more label stickers to cover up that ripped yellow strip at the bottom. And I'm showing you the Fitzgerald packaging for the thickers. And I'm going to use those asterisk or flower shapes on 2 other spots in the layout. So there will be 3 little bits of gold. There we go. So I'm just going to add those. You can see here in the final that I added a few more label stickers. And I'm going to show a close-up of the title. I would love to see you guys join in at Shimelle.com with her weekly challenges and see what you guys do with this prompt for this week. Lots of layers and vehicles. Thanks for joining me. Bye.